As artists, we all use tools. If we're using a pencil or a stylus, we're using a tool. And with so many tools at our disposal, do we run the risk of getting to the point where we are cheating by using tools, or are all these tools making us lazy? Let's talk about that. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. Although recently, with all the stuff going on in the world, we're kind of taking a break from doing the imminent threats to humanity and doing some more positive things. But we are still doing robots and zombies and all that stuff, particularly robots. Today I am going to be working on a robot design, but I thought, you know, let's do something positive. Thinking back to when we weren't in the situation we're in right now, if you're watching this currently, we are in the middle of the global pandemic. So, you know, I was just kind of reminiscing about the old days when we could go out to like big events and things and clubs and things, and I thought it'd be cool to just, for fun, design a robot DJ. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, while I do that, I'm going to be using some tools, and some basic tools, you know, pencils. I'm going to be using white ink and paint brushes to sort of do a blueprint style drawing on blue paper. So those are fairly basic tools that we all use, but there are a lot of tools out there. There are so many tools, and I build tools and I sell tools and all that kind of stuff, but is there a point when using a lot of these tools, does it become cheating? Does it make us lazy artists? I got a comment on one of my videos sort of addressing that, or sort of mentioning that, and that is something that I want to address on this because I have a little bit of a different opinion than the person that sent in the question, because we all have different opinions. We all have different ways of looking at things, and a lot of times, you know, I'll get these comments and then I'll sort of write back and say, well, I mean, respectfully, I disagree with you and this is why. And then a lot of times people say, yeah, I can kind of see your point and everything like that. That's sort of what sparked this conversation, but I think it's something a lot of people have that viewpoint, and I just want to kind of give a counter to that. And so let's get into that. I'm going to start drawing this blueprint DJ, and let's talk about some tools. Okay, so let's get started with this blueprint drawing. I am going to be working on a sort of hip-hop robot DJ, and since we're talking about tools today, I might as well just talk about some of the tools that I'm using. I am just using blue cardstock. You can buy it at any craft store. I just kind of cut it down to the size that I want, and then I am using ink. Well, first I penciled everything out with a sort of a blue Cola Race pencil, which it doesn't show up as much. It shows up just enough so I can see the drawing, but once I add the ink, you're really not going to see a lot of that underdrawing because it is sort of blue on blue, but I can see it. As you can tell through the video, you can see where I'm going over this in ink, and the ink that I'm using is like a Pro White or a Proof White, I guess. This particular brand is Doc Martens, I think, Proof White, or you can use like white gouache or whatever. And then as far as a brush, I'm just using a Cotman watercolor brush. A lot of times when I do inking, I will use a Winsor Newton Series 7, but I don't like to mix my white ink and my black ink brushes, because then you get gray and it's really hard to clean them to the point where you can kind of switch back and forth. So I just go with the Cotman watercolor brush. It's an economic brush. They're not too expensive, and it's definitely a good entry-level brush, and you know, and it works great for what I'm doing here. So anyway, those are with the tools out of the way. I do want to talk about tools because I did get a comment that I addressed in the comment section, but I wanted to address it more because I thought it was worthy of a full video, because this is something that I've heard many times, and you know, it can go either way as far as, are we being held back by the tools we're using, or is it advancing us? And I can see kind of both sides of that argument. Now, tools are designed to help us. They're designed to make us more productive. And I mean, so when you ask, is it cheating if you're using tools? And then this also comes when we're talking about reference, a lot of people say, you know, is using reference cheating and everything, and I've addressed that before, but it's pretty much the same thing with tools. Some people say that if you use certain tools, then you're cheating. Like if you're basically, if you're using something that's allowing you to trace or whatever. Now, whether it's cheating or not, I would look at it this way. I mean, is it cheating to use a hammer instead of your bare hands? Most people would say no. Now, you can take that to the next level. Is it cheating by using a nail gun instead of a hammer? And there's probably another step after a nail gun and all this type of thing. You know, there's probably more, like having we're drawing robots here, having maybe a mechanical robot that does all that work for you. I mean, that's kind of scary. We don't want to think about you know, robots basically taking over our job. But anyway, but there are these tools that help us as a society, or just as us as individual artists, become more productive. So I released this product called the Hero Design Studio, and basically what it is a lot of basic templates that you can use to help you design characters. So it'll have different body types. And then if you want to go a little further, you can add different like eye shapes or mouth shapes, and then you can even, there's even some things like you can add some different capes, or just like different design elements that you might see on a superhero. And my intention with this product is just to allow people to up their productivity as far as creating character designs. And this is something that I use, and typically when I design a product, I try to find something that, oh, I could really use this. This would help out in my own productivity. So I created this product and everything. I put it out there, and along with that, I put out a video letting people know about the product and kind of showing how it works. And I got a comment. Now I want to, first of all, I want to say I don't get a lot of hate in the comments, and this was not a hateful comment. I think because I put out relatively positive content that in turn people are pretty positive. So I don't get a whole lot of nasty stuff. And when I do get criticisms, I do want to take them seriously. And a lot of times when I do get criticisms, people preface it with kind of what this particular commenter said. So they said, not to hate, just my honest opinion, which I think if you're gonna leave a critical comment, it always helps, because we don't really know where that's coming from, how negative that is or not. You just wanna create a discussion and just kind of let the person know that, you know, I'm not hating on you or anything. But anyway, they went on to say that this product, it's more a tool for lazy people, not artists. And they said that no one will learn how to draw by using this thing. And you know, that's of course where I have a different opinion. I mean, I wouldn't have designed this if I didn't think that it was going to help artists out. I mean, that's pretty much why I do this whole channel. And that's why I build and put these products out. And my intention is to help people's productivity, to make their task run quicker, more efficient, not to do the work for them. And I don't think this particular project does the work for them. In fact, I mean, I've got examples, and I can illustrate why that is. And just to show that this doesn't do the work for you, I've had some people complain about this product saying, oh, I thought I was just going to be able to take all these things and build a hero without having to actually, like, you know, I'm not a great artist or whatever, so I just thought this was kind of going to do everything for me, which it doesn't. It gets you maybe a third of the way to, you know, creating a hero. But that third of the way is going to boost your productivity and make, you know, especially if you're designing a team of superheroes, when you're using these templates and everything, it's just going to make things quicker. To the point where, you know, like I said, I use this thing myself, even though I'm perfectly capable of drawing the human form and everything. But why redraw something over and over again just because you can when you don't need to? And just some further proof of this, if you watch the video that I did on this where I showed how that product works, you'll notice that I kind of built the template of the character using, you know, the body types or the head types and all that. Kind of got my basic figure done. Once that was done, the video didn't end. The video went on for like 3 times as long, with me using that template to design a character. Most of the work came afterwards. After that template was built, there was still a lot of work to be done, but it did get me further along in that process. And with these tools allowing me to get the basic design of that character out of the way, allowed me to concentrate on creating like costumes for my superhero characters, or all the other stuff that come along with that. That's all on me. That's all up to my imagination. There are some other tools, like there's like different kinds of masks you can add just to get you part of the way there, and I would use those, but I usually wouldn't use them right out the box. I would change them around and everything. So it's not something that's going to do everything for you, and most tools don't. You still have to have some design skills, some artistic skills if you're going to use tools. I mean, with a hammer is just not going to work by itself. You need somebody that has some skill in using the hammer, and I'm not even the best at using a hammer. You've got to know how to make the hammer's weight work with it, work for it, and you know, all this other thing. Seems like a pretty simple tool, but if you're not really skilled at using a hammer, you're going to find that your nails are going to go crooked and everything like that. So you need to know how to use a tool. It's not going to do the work for you. So this product, the Hero Design Studio, is not going to draw your hero for you. You've got to have the ability to draw or illustrate in order to do that. Now, I have other products. Well, I've got a series called Avatar Builders. There's a zombie avatar builder, a robot avatar builder, monster avatar builder, and those will pretty much, for those you don't need any drawing skills. It's basically just a bunch of different monster eyes, monster horns, you know, different monster head shapes, and you can take all those, and there's millions of different combinations, and you can combine and make, you know, monsters with it. But even if you can't draw, you still have to have an eye for design. So I noticed that somebody was using my zombie avatar builder to design t-shirts to sell on Amazon, and that's just so everyone knows that's perfectly legitimate. So that's what this product is for you to build things and do what you want with them, whether it's making greeting cards or selling them or doing whatever using this product. But I looked at these shirts and I'm like, whoa, that doesn't look that great, because the person using them, they had the tools, but they didn't really know how to use them. It seems like it's a simple thing to just take a bunch of eyes and put it on a face, but you know, with different scaling and different line weights, because if you scale something up and you don't constrain that line weight or whatever, you're going to have some items that are thinner, and you know, just basically what I'm saying is, looking at these t-shirts, the person that used the tools to create this t-shirt didn't really have that great of a design sensibility, so the shirts didn't look that good. Whereas if you see some of the samples and everything that I put out there using it, it didn't look like it was a bunch of different pieces that you put together to make something. It looked like I just illustrated it like that. And if you have more skill as a designer or more of an eye for that, you're going to notice that. So whether it's drawing or whether it's just knowing design or knowing how things should look and be aesthetically pleasing, that's something that you have to have. I mean, it's not something that the tools are going to do for you. Now, can tools be used as a crutch? Can you lean too much on these tools? Yes, there is a danger in that, and I would encourage anyone, before you start using a tool like this, well, maybe not in every case, and I'll get to that in a minute, but in most cases, you know, I definitely encourage you to learn how to draw the figure. Once you have a good understanding of that figure, like I said, it's not efficient to having to keep redrawing that same pose, especially if all you're doing is designing a costume. I mean, if you want to show the characters like different poses and things, obviously you need to know your way around human anatomy and everything in order to do that. But if you're just designing costumes, like basically what this product was primarily for, why redraw it each time when you can just throw up that template, create a character very quickly, or the structure or skeleton of a character, and then add to that to make it more your original creation. But if you don't know how to do that, you could fall into that crutch. But then there's also the point where if you are designing hundreds of costumes or hundreds of characters based on these templates, I think just by, you know, rote knowledge, you are gonna learn a little more about the anatomy, learn a little more about proportions and things like that, because a lot of people learn how to draw by tracing. Now, if that's all they ever do, if they don't transition to doing things on their own, then that could be a problem. But I think these tools can help you, but you definitely don't want to use them as a crutch. You don't want to rely on them to the point that it's a detriment to your creativity or your ability to learn how to draw. There are many tools out there that we use that have, at one point, people would look at and say, oh no, that's cheating, you can't do that. And then the more people use it, it's just like, oh no, well that's kind of the way it is now. And I'm always looking for things, because I am a professional artist, and I do want to say that if you're not, you know, if you don't have the goal to be a professional artist, if you just want to do this for fun or whatever, the Hero Design Studio, that product, or any of my products, that can be used for that. I mean, it's pretty versatile. It's something that somebody with not a whole lot of skills can probably at least get a certain point of the way there and have some fun with it. But also, if you are a professional, it's also going to help you. So no matter kind of where you are as far as it being an artist or just wanting to have some fun with it, if this is something you want to get to your kids, and that's another thing that could a product like this could also encourage somebody who maybe is just getting into art to appreciate it a little more and want to get more into it, and in turn go the next level and start learning how to draw things on their own and everything. So I mean, I don't see any real drawback to the things that I'm putting out there as far as making artists lazy or whatever, and maybe I just have a different opinion when it comes to that. But going back to what I was saying before, there were certain things when first introduced were kind of like, that's kind of like cheating, and you know, whether it's computer coloring comics or computer lettering. I mean, if you look at comic books nowadays, pretty much almost all comic books are computer lettered. Now, if I was going to look at a computer lettered comic versus a hand lettered comic, assuming that the hand letterer is competent and is a good hand letterer, the computer lettering just cannot compete. I mean, a great hand letterer is going to, you know, blow computer lettering out of the water all the time. Now myself, I am not that great of a comic book letterer. If I took the time enough, and I've built fonts and things like that, and if I take the time to make nice letters and everything, I can do that. But just, you know, but it's not efficient for me, because in order for me to draw great lettering, it would take me so long, where even though I would love to have that hand lettered look, if I'm doing it myself, I've got to kind of go that computer lettered look, because I'm just not that skilled as a letterer. Now, again, is that me using that as a crutch? Possibly, but it also, you know, hand lettering itself, and I don't want to get on a huge tangent because this is a whole other topic, but bad lettering can destroy a great comic, and I don't want to destroy my great comic, and I don't always have the money to hire a hand letterer to do that. So, you know, I'm going to use that computer lettering. Now, there are happy mediums. There's a great technique, which I'm probably going to adopt and do a little more of. I've done it before in the past, where you can take that hand lettering as a tool, and you can go, you can lay out all your comic books with the computer lettering, and then you can go over that by hand, and then you've got sort of a guide. So you've got the best of both worlds. Your lettering is going to look good because you've got that sort of as a template, but you're going over it by hand, so you get those little inconsistencies that really is what is the kind of cornerstone of what makes hand lettering look so great compared to computer lettering, because you can usually tell it's done by a computer. So be creative with the tools you use. If you're worried that, no, this is gonna, you know, this is gonna stop me from being a better letterer or better artist or whatever, you could use the tools however you like. If you want better hand lettering, you can use those digital fonts as a template. Or if you just want to bypass that, but you want decent looking lettering, then you can go and use those digital fonts. So think about how you use those tools and kind of season the taste to whatever works best for you as an artist. But just like when we talk about using reference, is reference cheating? And a lot of times it's kind of the up and coming artists, and I don't know where they're getting this information from, but most professionals use reference, all right? And most professionals are not ashamed of using reference. If you watch, I've seen a lot of great artists, and you can see, I mean, if you see like the top amazing artists at Disney, they're using reference to inform their drawings. They're not relying only on their reference, because they have the ability to look at that reference and take from that what they need and change it and make it their own and make it original. And that's kind of the key. And you can do that with any products. Sure, you can rely too much on a particular tool, or you can use that tool to make you better. You can learn how to draw from using tools. You know, don't use them as a crutch. The bottom line for me is, I believe in working smarter, not harder. Why torture yourself? You know, if I know how to draw the human figure decent enough, I mean, you know, I struggle with it, I'm not gonna lie, but I've got a pretty good understanding. But I'm just not gonna take the time, if I'm just designing costumes, to redraw that figure over and over again, when I can quickly just throw up a real quick template, or whatever the case is. I use different tools for all types of things. If you use software, you're using tools, and software is always introducing new things to make your job easier. And it's not making you a cheater. So take for instance Photoshop. A lot of people use Photoshop as, oh, this person photoshopped this. I think most people that aren't designers just think Photoshop is this thing where you just push a button and it like photo retouches things or takes things out and does all this kind of stuff. And it's getting closer. I mean, it's getting quicker and things. But Photoshop is not going to do that for you. You need to learn how to use Photoshop to get that desired results. It's not like it just, oh, I just pushed the Photoshop button, now I've done everything that I want, and I've got a finished piece now. It doesn't work like that. We use tools, we use them to our advantage, but if you are of the opinion that, oh, I don't want to use all these tools because it's cheating or because it's lazy, I don't look at that as being lazy, because I produce tons of work, and I produce way more work than I would if I wasn't using these tools to help me along. So, I mean, I would just let the productivity speak for itself. And like I said, I believe in working smarter, not harder. But anyway, that's one artist's opinion, and I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say on that particular topic. All right, so here is our DJ FutureBot sketch, blueprint sketch, using some basic tools. And but you know, in talking about tools, do you find that there's, I mean, I want to know your guys' opinion. Do you find that using all these tools, it's making you lazy, or it's a hindrance, or it's a crutch? Or do you find that it's helpful? Is it helping you learn how to be a better artist by using these tools? Is it saving you time? Is it upping your progress, or your productivity rather? I want to know, and I want to know what kind of tools you guys use. What are some of your favorite tools? Just let me know in the comments section. Let's keep that discussion going. I usually answer all my comments, so don't be afraid to leave a comment. And that's all I got to say today. I will see you guys later. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media. And now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.